You might recall that I had a bent headlight post on the hood of the Cub, and I know that before I paint this hood along with the rest of the tractor, I'm going to have to straighten this piece out, and can't probably see it very well, but it's bent forward, and in order to fix that, I've been trying to find a way to bend it back, and I can't get this nut off right here. I did get the headlight off, and you can see the headlight's still on the other side. That one's straight and perfect. This one though was bent pretty good and crinkled the hood right here. So I'm just trying to get that straight. I'm going to clean it up and then repaint the hood. And I know I'm not going to be able to fix it perfectly, but I have made some progress. I made this as a wheel puller, this device right here. It has two steel plates about a 1/4 inch thick on either side. This one has a big cutout to get around the back of the pulley, and then you put I have a 4-ton floor jack in the middle here, and that pushes on this, and normally you'd put it on a bolt that goes into the shaft inside the pulley, and this would go around the pulley and then pull the pulley out. I'm using it today just to apply pressure to try to straighten this piece out, and then this side of the apparatus keeps the sheet metal from just popping out and getting more bent. So I tried this a little while ago and it got about halfway there. I'm going to try a few more pulls here and hopefully not bend anything else badly. And again, I hate doing this kind of stuff. It's old equipment. And I can already see that I'm kind of bulging this out. So this may be about the best I can do on this. I'm not sure. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna back off and take another run at this. I need to adjust this so that this corner is down here and holds that metal from punching out. So I'm gonna let this off and then catch it so it doesn't dent the inside of my hood. You kind of see where we are with it here. And hopefully you can see here that actually did a really nice job. I'm just afraid it's gonna damage this section right here if I go much further. But what I'm going to do is get some metal support around like that and then see if I can't go take another run at it. The other option is to heat this metal all up and put something on this and pull it back towards me, but I'm afraid that's going to bend this whole thing out. So I'm going to try this again. I just got to get this my apparatus set up again. So I'll be back in a bit here to take another run at this. Alright, well, we're almost there. As you can see, this thing's almost straight. I'm a little worried about this bend right here, but I think I can deal with that later. So I'm gonna go just a little more, see if we can't get this thing straightened out. Well, Not sure we're going to get there, but it's awfully close. I'm thinking about maybe putting something on there and pulling it that way and see what that does. Let me try that real fast. I'll be right back. All right, I don't like this much, but I'm just going to see if I can give it that little extra. Man, that just about did it. That's actually pretty good. All right, well, looks like we've successfully fixed this. We might have created another problem or two with this bend right here, but I'm going to use some clamps and see if I can get that straightened out. So I'm going to take all this apart and see what I can do, and then I'll clean it up in preparation for painting. So I'm still working on the Cub, trying to get things ready to paint. And what I'm doing here is I've decided I'm going to paint these rims. I've degreased them, I've sanded them, and I've wiped them down with acetone to make sure that I have all the oils and crud off of them and that they're clean and ready to paint. I already painted the bottom side, so I'm getting this side ready, and I don't want to take the tires off, and that complicates things because you don't want to get paint on the tires themselves. So what I'm doing is using playing cards and tucking them in around the rim all the way around, and so that has worked pretty well so far. So that's what I'm working on. I've already completed the other one, and so now I'm gonna take a whack at this one, and like I said, I've already painted the bottom side of it, so I'm just painting the upper side here, and then of course the cards prevent the paint from getting on the rubber on the tires. So I'm going to take a few minutes here and put in the rest of these cards and just show you a few of them. You just tuck them in like this. Now if it's windy or breezy even, these things can get blown around, so I'm going to try to do this fast before they blow away. It's a beautiful day out today, and probably isn't the greatest thing to do in the sun because the paint dries really fast, and I guess that's okay. So that's just the way it goes. So you can kind of get an idea here how this works. You just overlap the cards by about half an inch or an inch to make sure that you don't get any paint spraying through the middle of them. You go all the way around, and then you can spray. You just still got to be careful not to raise your spray can too high, or else you'll get it over the top. So I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of these in, and then I'll be back and we'll spray this rim. All right, we're going to give this a try and see how it goes. Kind of have to remember where you leave off and where you started so that you get everything. I did put some masking tape over the bolts. I guess I could have just taken them out, but the taping over them seems to work okay. And I'll do 2 coats of this spray can. And it doesn't take this paint long to dry, so I'll do the second coat in just a few minutes. And I'm just trying to make sure I don't get any dribbles, and just doing as neat a job as possible. Looks like it. I'll just give that a couple minutes to dry, and then I'll come back and take another whack at it. One of the things you got to be careful of is if you spray down too low here, it goes up under the rim and gets some overspray on the rubber on the other side. And so I found that if you go around the rubber afterwards with some of that acetone or some paint thinner and a good rag, that'll wipe off, and it's not really a big deal. So this works pretty well with the cards, and we'll give this a couple more minutes and I'll spray it again. So I'll get back to you when I'm ready to do more with this wheel. I guess what I would like to do is show you the other wheel here, the one that's on the tractor. And this was sort of a prototype. So I sprayed this wheel earlier in the week, and the finish came out really nice. It's a little brighter than it's probably supposed to be, but I kind of like it. It looks great. And I just gave this one coat of the red just to see what the red looked like. And it's very shiny, and I'm really excited about eventually painting the whole tractor with this red. But this just gives an idea of what these wheels will look like when I'm all done. And you notice here some real bad pitting. I have the same situation on that rim, and these rims are pretty expensive, and you know, this is an old tractor, 75 years old, and so I think these are still serviceable. They just, you know, the rust is pitted pretty badly in some spots, but I just decided I'm not going to Bondo them up or try to cover them. I'm just going to preserve that character of the wheel with the paint. So that's why that looks like that. So this is going to not look like a brand new tractor. It's going to have paint on it, and it's going to be beautiful, but it's certainly not going to look like it did when it rolled off the floor. Actually, it might look better, but it's still going to show its age. There's some dents and different things here and there that I'm just going to have to leave. So anyway, that's the wheels, at least the back wheels. I haven't really got to the front wheels yet. Those get painted red, no silver on those. Alright, so we're preparing the shop for painting. I'm still a few days away from painting, but I wanted to get my apparatus all put together. One thing I figured out, I was going to do this out on the driveway, but it gets kind of breezy here in the afternoon. We're in Central Oregon, and it's a high desert, and there's just a lot of dust and sand, and so I painted one item, one of the platters, just to see what it would look like, and it got quite a bit of dust particles on it that dried in with it. So I decided to go ahead and make a paint booth of sorts inside the shop. So here's the shop. It's 30 by 42, and it's got a single door, RV 12-foot door, 16 feet wide. So I've got all the parts to the tractor on these 3 carts. I've got the tractor itself. Inside I put a tarp on the floor and plastic sheeting on these partitions, and then nailed them together into this little booth. So the idea here, it's only 6 feet tall or so, a little more than that. So I'm gonna have to just be careful I don't get spray over the top. So I'll be trying to spray down on things, not up. And I've got the tractor core pretty much ready. I've got things masked off. I've got some final degreasings to still do, and then of course the paint prep. Been working hard on the hood here, and spent a lot of time the other day getting one of the headlight bars straightened out without damaging the hood. I think I did a pretty good job of that. It's this one right here, and there was a little bit of a video on that earlier. I showed you how I did that. Then I've got some of the sheet metal parts over here, and then I have this hanging deal that I made to got a bunch of hooks on it to hang parts to paint. I'm not sure how useful it'll be because it's not very sturdy. A lot of these parts are kind of heavy, so the sheet metal parts might work. But like things like the deck, that's not going to go on there. It's just going to be too heavy. I also have 4 wheel weights, 2 rear, 2 front. And I mean, I can't even turn those over without using the engine hoist. I think they weigh 80 or 100 pounds, so I'm going to have to think about how to handle those. I suppose I'll leave them on those carts, but put something under them so I don't paint the carts, and then paint one side at a time, maybe the edges, and then turn it over later and paint the other side. So I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that. Anyway, I think I've got this set up pretty well. It's a little smaller than I was hoping, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get the tractor. I mean, I got to put the tractor up on jack stands, and it's going to have to stay in one place during this entire process. And as you can see, it's going to take up most of the space in here. Of course, I'll have all the wheels and tires off of it, and I'll deal with those separately. But I got to put it kind of right in the center. So I've got some work to do. I might try to jockey it around sideways in the far end as much as I can, so I have still room to paint with the sprayer in behind it. And then I'll roll these carts in one at a time, or maybe 2 at a time, with the parts laid out in a way that I can paint, and hopefully paint everything all at once with each coat of 2 coats of primer and 2 coats of the Farmall red. So that's where we are painting. I'm kind of excited to get to this point. Again, it's a little breezy, so I'm concerned about my plastic ripping off and stuff. But you know, I'll close the garage door if I have to. And it's warm enough these days where I don't think I have to worry about the temperature. So after about 10 in the morning, it should be no problem. And I just don't think it's going to take that long to paint everything, because once I get the sprayer figured out, I think it'll go pretty quick. So that's where we are. You can see from the inside the shop how this looks. I mean, it's pretty. I kind of ran out of plastic, so I had to use some drop cloths and things. You can see from the inside, it protects everything pretty well. I moved the boat out, and I'll probably cover the T model over there just to be sure there's no overspray. Everything else I'm not too worried about. I think it's going to be just about right, just fine. So today is a paint prep kind of day. I'm going to try to arrange things so that I can figure out how they are going to fit in the paint booth. Also need to probably set up a fan of some sort. I've got a Tyvek suit with a hat and goggles and a respirator and all the stuff I need. So hoping to mix paint and start painting either this weekend or early next week. So I'll be taping those processes and showing you how I'm going about doing that. All right. Take care, and I'll be back once I get a little further down the road. If I start the paint prep today, I'll video some of that.